Hi, welcome to this lesson. Let's start looking more into our numbers now. Okay, so let's talk about hexadecimal numbers and octal. It's just going to be a short overview of this. So you know what hexadecimal numbers are, right? Numbers that are preceded by OX or hexadecimal. Numbers that are preceded by O00 are octal. So 0x and 0. Right, so what I want to tell you is if you prefix a number, any number at all, with 0x, so if you give 0x and then if you write a number like this, then your browser would automatically consider this as a hexadecimal number. Okay, so never prefix your integers with 0x or 0 even, because if you prefix it with 0, it will consider this number as octal and not decimal. Okay, if you so this might happen by mistake, so don't do it at all, because this would automatically be considered as an octal representation and not as a decimal number. And you most probably are working with decimal numbers because that's what we use in our everyday use, right? So please take a look at that. Okay, so I just want to tell you about that. And then, so we already looked at the highest possible number accepted by the browser. Remember, we know that 15 digits is for integers and 17 digits for floating point. That's the norm with your browser, right? So anything more than that, if it has more than that, it would be considered as infinity by your browser. Uh, and also JavaScript actually has an infinity. So let's look at infinity now. Okay, there is positive infinity and there's negative infinity as well. For example, if I do something like this, 10 by 0, and if I do a console.log of a, as you know, 10 by 0 is actually infinity, right? See, I'm getting positive infinity, just infinity, which basically means that it's positive infinity. But on the other hand, if I do minus 10 by 0, what am I going to get? There you go. I'm getting minus infinity. So that's how it works. And just like nan, infinity is also a number. So if I do another console.log and if I ask for, let's just remove this, and if I ask for type of infinity, what am I going to get? See, it's a number. But if I do something like this, type of minus infinity, that's still a number. Okay, so that's how that works. And just like nan, any operation against infinity would obviously result in infinity. If I give a is equal to 10 into infinity like this, if I do a console.log of a, what am I going to get? I'm going to get infinity because infinity is sticky like that. Okay, and if I do it with minus infinity as well, there you go. Anything multiplied or operated with minus infinity is going to be minus infinity. So if I add 10 plus minus infinity, what am I going to get? I'm still going to get minus infinity. If I divide 10 by minus infinity, I'm going to get minus 0. Okay, that's because 10 by 0 is infinity. So 10 by minus infinity is 0. So that's how that works. If I do a modulus, I'm going to probably get, yep. So you can play around with these things and you can get the output. So a 10 by 10 modulus infinity basically means what is 10 divided by infinity? 10 divided by minus infinity is minus 10 divided by infinity has a quotient of minus 0, right? So and then it has a remainder of 10. So that's why if you do a modulus like this, you're getting 10 for this. So for minus infinity, the results would change a bit, but for just infinity also, If you do 10 modulus infinity, that's what you're going to get. If you do 10 divided by infinity, you're obviously going to get a 0. That's because 10 divided by 0 is infinity. So 10 divided by infinity, in mathematical sense, it would be 0, right? So that's how that works. So that's it for infinity. Now let's create a small loop. Okay, don't worry about it. I haven't taught you how to create the loop, but let's create a small loop that multiplies itself. So we'll be looking into loops in a future in a future module. So right now, just don't get confused. I'm just creating it to show you how infinity works, how this entire thing works. So we're going to first of all assign a value 5 to a variable a, like this, okay? And then we are going to be commanding the browser to keep multiplying the number with itself, okay? So I'm going to ask the browser to keep multiplying itself, and then I'm going to ask it to reassign the new value back to a, like this. So I'm going to ask it to keep doing that for infinity, like this, okay? So let's see what I'm going to get. So I'm going to create another variable b, like this, and let's delete this, because you already know that if I do it like this, I'm going to get an error, because the identifier a has already been declared. You can only declare a once. On the other hand, you can reuse it like this if needed. I'll just delete this, okay, and just redeclare it like this, okay? So I'm going to create a variable a and assign it a value 5, and then create another variable b, and then I'm going to ask my browser to do something like this. So while, as long as the value of a is not equal to infinity, okay, you already know how not equal to works, right? So as long as the value of a is not equal to infinity, I want the browser to multiply a with itself, okay? First of all, it's going to multiply 5 with 5, so that's the first value is going to be 25. So I want it to multiply a with itself and then reassign it back to it, okay? And then I want to keep logging it into the console, like this. I wanted to do that. So as you probably guessed by now, this is going to keep running until your browser runs out of juice or something like that. So if I go for it, there you go. It just kept going until it reached infinity. Now, where is the infinity here? After it reached the highest capacity of numbers that your JavaScript can hold, the next value is automatically infinity. Okay, so it runs till infinity. The last value to be printed right here is infinity, after which it stops. So as you can see, it's not actually a non-quantifiable number. Okay, the browser just calls the number that is beyond the scope of JavaScript language's interpretation as infinity. So after this number, if it multiplies this number with the same number, JavaScript, it's still a number, okay? It's still a number that is quantifiable, but JavaScript, your browser and JavaScript just does not have the capacity to understand that number, to display the number, to do the calculation. So that's why it immediately resorts to infinity like this. Okay, so that's how that works. Alright, so we looked at a lot more examples about infinity and more about numbers. So that's it for this particular lesson. I'll see you in the next one, and let's continue on with numbers. Okay, I'll see you there. Thank you.